What is going on, people? It is Spencer, and we are here for the first match of the DTC League, Season 3, Uber's Edition. This week we're up against Tennessee Tyranitars, coached by my good friend Bailey, who you should definitely check out after this vid. He'll have our battle up on his channel as well. So first we'll start with some team prep and thoughts I had going into this match. Then we'll jump into the play-by-play commentary, and then I'll conclude with some post-game analysis. So if you like this format, be sure to like this vid and let me know. Otherwise, just leave a comment with your suggestion as well. So let's get into looking at Bailey's team. So starting off with the team, clearly the big threat on the table is the Mega Salamence with the massive attack stat, Aerial 8, Dragon Dance, huge double edge, as well as great coverage options. So I knew that my team had to be defensively oriented to really check the Salamence. Of course, that also includes checking Excadrill and Tyranitar as well. You got kind of that mini sand combo going on, so that's a big threat. Other things that I noted too was this Togekiss being kind of an annoying pair flincher is very common. You can also see some Scarf variants too, so I had to take that into consideration. It wasn't really as much a powerful presence, but Dusclops I could see as being very annoying. If I do not bring the Alolan Muck, then it can kind of just, spread status and be a general nuisance for my team. And then other things that he might consider into bring are things like Vaporeon as the cleric, Exeggutor as just kind of a good sturdy wall with good special attacking stats, and then Wheezing as like a physical check. So with that in mind, let's head over to the team builder where we can take a look at what I built. So looking at the team here, obviously the first Pokemon that I want to start out with is Arceus Ghost. The coverage just seemed really good. It had a huge support move pool at its disposal, so I knew I could just kind of spam Judgment for the most part, save against the Tyranitar, of course. So I obviously ran Will-O-Wisp on this variant to try to catch the Tyranitar. So I figured kind of a max defense spread would work there for the most part. So I started with that. Then obviously the next team member is going to be Slowbro, so I knew that with the spreads that I had in mind, a +1 252 attack Aerial 8 Salamence that uses a double edge versus this spread of Slowbro here, it's going to do 51 to 63. So I knew I could come in at least the Dragon Dance, take one, and then use Ice Beam, which actually uninvested is a KO on Salamence. So having that in mind was really good. A physical Pokemon that can actually check and stop Salamence was really important to me. And the Teleport I thought too would be kind of a good interaction with the rest of my team once I built it out later on. Of course, Scald is pretty obvious for catching the burns and whatnot and slack off. So, and then Thundurus was actually my next Pokemon here. I thought Thundurus would have an interesting amount of speed control, just enough speed EVs here to outspeed Jolly Excadrill once the sand was off, of course. And then just kind of a standard coverage suite of Thunderbolt for stab, Focus Blast to catch either Tyranitar or Excadrill, and then Him Power Ice would be my option actually for catching Salamence if it ever switched in. So just kind of the heavy duty boot set with that spread, and then just enough special bulk essentially to kind of come in on those air slashes if Togekiss spams them. I won't have to worry too much about taking those repeatedly. And actually skipping over to Virizion for a second, I made this spread specifically for basically being used as a lure against Salamence. So the idea would be that I teleport from Slowbro into Virizion on some kind of Pokemon that Virizion can handle, then sub as they switch, and then if it is that Salamence, I can go for the Rocky MZ, and then after Stealth Rocket is the KO. So knowing that is going to be a really critical component of this team in the matchup. And of course, Close Combat Leaf Blade just for good stab coverage. And then the last two members I round out with are Komodo, just kind of more with a kind of physically bulky set with enough speed EVs to outspeed Jolly Tyranitar. The Body Press with this investment does KO both Excadrill and Tyranitar, so that's good. It's obviously my rocker with Protect for scouting moves. And the next Scissor I just kind of threw on there for coverage against Exeggutor on the off chance that it comes onto the team, with Overcoat just to help against sand, I guess. And then Wheezing, Galarian Wheezing I used as kind of like my pivot as both a cleric, something to spread Will-O-Wisp as well. Physically bulky, of course. I figured that was kind of the better spread than trying to go for something special. And yeah, pretty standard set. So that's going to be the team. You can definitely see it's much more physically bulky, knowing that his team is kind of leaning around that. So I figure I can just kind of wear him out through some pressure, Will-O-Wisp, constant pivoting, and then eventually set up an opportunity for either Thundurus or Virizion, or even my Calm Mind Arceus to try to sweep into the late game. So with that in mind, let's actually head over to the battle here and see how it went. So we're going to go ahead and start from here, I believe. Yeah. So I start off with my Como as he goes into Arcanine. I also just protect, probably just scouting the Will-O-Wisp here. Yep. As I'm just going to go ahead and actually go into Slowbro, because I'd rather get burned than poisoned. As he actually goes into Salamence right here. I figured this is a good opportunity to Mega, and maybe, yeah, teleport pivot into something that can handle Dusclops better, which in this case is just my Arceus, which can spam Judgment. I'm not sure why I honestly go for the the Will-O-Wisp there. If anything, I think it probably would have been better to Judgment on that play, but either way, it goes into the Arcanine. Gonna Flare Blitz as I take that, obviously, quite nicely. Goes back into the Dusclops again. I think I just go for a Scald here, yep, to get some damage in. And then I go Galarian Weezing as he actually taunts. Don't have a whole lot of moves to do without taunting, or with taunt on there, so I go back into Como. Figured this is probably a good opportunity to get rocks up. Make sure Salamence can't come in repeatedly as he goes into Togekiss, of course. I take the Air Slash quite nicely with Thundurus as he goes Arcanine. Now, here I go for the Nasty Plot, and I was actually predicting, see, in previous scrims I had thought that it was obvious that Excadrill would come in here, just to take the T-Bolt, basically. Or, if anything, Tyranitar with special defense could probably take one Thunderbolt and then go into Excadrill, then go for kind of like a Sand Rush sweep. So that was kind of my logic going into that, just so you know, as I actually pivot into Slowbro. And so, again, taking that Flare Blitz pretty nicely as he goes into Togekiss, and I think I just teleport here back into Thundurus, and then I just straight up fire a Thunderbolt, because I figured at this point he's probably not going to switch. I believe this is where I also switch again, because I'm predicting either the Tyranitar or the Excadrill, which neither of which come in, of course, and then I go back into Thundurus, and I can see clearly that, okay, he's not switching out at this point, so I can just pretty much spam the Thunderbolts and not have to worry about the Excadrill switch in. So Togekiss does go down to my Thundurus T-Bolt as Excadrill comes in, of course, now. And yep, he's gonna get a Swords Dance off. I believe, yep, I go for the Body Press here, knowing that it's gonna be a KO, and I can probably take one of whatever he's got down there. So this is the point where he actually reveals it's a Hyper Voice Salamence. So it's a yes, using Aerialate for the flying types Hyper Voice is really potent. It actually does a huge chunk of my Slowbro, as I just go for the Judgment here, and then I think I go for the Will-O-Wisp next to cripple that Tyranitar. He goes for the Foul Play, probably thinking that I am the Swords Dance variant of Ghost Arceus, which is a fair prediction, but of course getting that cripple on Tyranitar was quite nice. I just recover here to get some more HP so I can switch in later. That was a large crit, so it probably did matter to some extent, as the Arcanine is actually just going to die from the chip damage, however, so the KO was not attributed to Arceus, unfortunately. So here I actually scouted for the Ghost TMZ, because I thought he was going to go for a Z Shadow Claw, but you can see that's the Z Ground, the Tectonic Rage, I believe, as I take quite a lot from Como. Go for the Body Press here, obviously not going to do anything. Not seeing any Nightshade come out, just the Toxic on here, so I decide to go into Slowbro, as he does go for a Wise Taunt, which is really smart considering that I need Slack Off on my Slowbro to get back any HP, given that since I'm Mega, I'm already regenerated, or I lost Regenerator, as he does again taunt my Weezing on the switch in. Gonna get back some HP from the Pain Split, given that he has less than I do. And I believe right here, yeah, go for a Sludge Bomb. Probably should have went for the Will-O-Wisp there, given how safe the option was, as I do take quite a lot from the switch in on the Iron Head for my Thundurus. Here I go for a Focus Blast as he goes into Dusclops. As I try to get up another opportunity to go into Slowbro and try to slack off, but again, he knows that I really need that HP, so he's not going to let me. Fails to get a Mean Look off, of course, because I am a Ghost type, as I do go for the Recover to just gain back some HP, although he'll gain his own through Pain Split. Here I go for the Calm Mind because I figure a Judgment, with +1 is probably going to be a 2-hit KO, and sure enough it is. Is going to taunt me, however, so I cannot recover, cannot get additional Calm Minds up, and so on. But I am able to get the KO on Dusclops, so that is kind of nice. Major nuisance out of the way. Here I actually thought, as he brings in Tyrannitar, oh, he's going to Pursuit Trap me, so I'll just go ahead and go for the Judgment anyway, as I think, KO'd yep from the combination of Sandstorm and Toxic damage, which is unfortunate. Probably would have been helpful to keep it alive. I do miss this, over-predicting and thinking he would go Salamence. However, it doesn't end up mattering a whole lot. I think here I go for the Leaf Blade. Probably should have gone for the Close Combat, given that it hits both Excadrill and Tyranitar. And just taking like an unnecessary amount of damage from the Iron Head here as I switch in. So at this point, Sandstorm has subsided, which is nice. I think I do just go for the Slack Off here as he gets the Swords Dance up. Earthquake's going to do quite a lot, bring me down just right back to 31% as I go for the Scald. And this is the point where Salamence can just come in and spam that Hyper Voice on the rest of my team, unfortunately. So yeah, that obviously was either a special or a mixed variant. I actually learned after the fact of the battle that it is a mixed Salamence. So super unfortunate for my prep as my whole team goes down. So let's just go ahead and go to the replay analyzer, and then we'll just talk about kind of what my my thoughts are after the fact here. So looking at the post game, one of the things that I kind of learned was knowing when to Mega Slowbro can be a really crucial factor in some of these games. Like retaining Regenerator is just kind of more important than Mega Evolving in some instances. So like for example, Mega Slowbro and Slowbro have the exact same HP stat. So it actually probably would have been a little bit better to, have the Regenerator up so I could consistently get back that HP rather than just, have Shell Armor, which wasn't as of much value in that particular matchup. So just kind of something to learn for the future is maintaining Regenerator can actually be really helpful if you plan on continuing to switch in Slowbro. And then just one thing I thought was kind of funny was that my decision to change Komo's ability from Soundproof to Overcoat was probably in some essence, cost me the game, but I don't think it would have mattered too terribly much, given that I might have still died from the EQ, I think, at that range. I was at like in the 30s or 40s with my Como HP, so how much that mattered, I really don't know, but just having those abilities and knowing which one to pack can be important in those situations. And then I think overall just understanding how to make the most of every set I think is very important as well. So like for example, running Thunder Wave on my Thunderous instead of HP Ice actually might have saved me in that battle, just given the fact that crippling it, would have helped out the rest of my team and, supported in that way rather than trying to hope I catch Salamence on the switch in with Hidden Power Ice and KOing that way. So knowing those kinds of things and realizing that kind of like every move slot is precious and trying to find the most ways to maximize support for your team and just the overall matchup, I think can be super important in instances like that. So those are just a few things to consider for the future. Overall, though, I thought, despite a few mistakes in prep and gameplay that I had, it was a good match. It was a good start to the season. I learned a lot. I learned how to use my team a bit better, and then just got a really great showcase of the creativity of Bailey. Cred to him and credit where it's due that running a mixed Salamence was really clever, and I really liked the how that played out in that match. So overall, learned a lot. Looking forward to the next week. We're playing the Destin Lucarios, which is my friend Raven's team, obviously the owner of DTC, so we have that to look forward to. But thank you all for watching. Be sure to leave a comment on your impressions of the battle, ideas for sets, and all that and more. And yeah, of course, be on the lookout too for a video later this week. I'll be highlighting the battles of the week in the A division. We're going to talk about the kind of plays of the week, some kind of shock surprises, kill leaders, and all that jazz. So be sure to tune in for that. But otherwise, guys, I will see you next time. Peace out.